All right, very happy to bring on Rich Desrosiers from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And boy, what a day today over there on George Hallis Drive. Rich, thank you so much for coming on the Sam Bourquin Show today. How are you?
I'm well, Sam. How about you?
I'm doing well. Long time no talk, long time no
Yeah.
see. And
No.
you look like what is your secret? I'm just going to come out and ask it. You look as fantastic now as you did when you were covering me when I was pitching in high school for the Repository.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Just let everybody know that how much older than you I am. I was at the Rep. You were a high school ball player, and those were fun times. I was just talking about Central Catholic with somebody the other day. We were talking about Father Kaler. We were talking about Coach Kleinfelder,
Yeah.
Coach Miller. I mean, that was a fun time for me. I think I had fewer cares in the world than I do right now.
Well, I tell you what, you were a good luck charm for us. Every time you showed up, we won. So that was really good.
I'll take that. I didn't, you know what? I'll be honest. I didn't really realize that, but I'll take it.
You did. And I had caught up years and years. Obviously, that was a long time ago. We had a really, really good run back in 87, 88. And I'd ran into an old colleague, and I hope he is still well, Chris Thomason. And he came and covered our regional championship. We needed one more to get to Columbus last year, and we lost. And he showed up to cover the game. I said, I bet if Rich or somebody else was here, it would have been different. He laughed. We laugh about it to this day.
Yeah.
But those were fun times, no doubt about it.
You know what? I have some great lifelong memories from those days. You know, Coach Kleinfelder and his chemistry papers spread all over the floor of the football coach's office.
Right.
I remember coming out one day, and it was going into week 10, and Pat and Roger Duffy were the interior linemen for the Crusaders, and this was going to be an epic game between Central and Aquinas. Both really strong that year, and the Duffy, and I'm standing in the offensive backfield. And the Duffys turn around, and Mike Rinaldi was there's a name. How about that, Sam? There's a name of somebody who was just a phenomenal high school football legend in this town. The Duffys turn, and they kind of grin and growl, and they say, "Which one of you is Rinaldi?" And I'm thinking, and everybody like turned and looked at me like I was going to throw some pads on and be the tackling dummy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. That's not happening.
Yeah, that was a rough night for my alma mater last night. Central St. Thomas took it to us 28-7. That was a bad night. That was a bad night.
But, that was a great team.
Yeah, it certainly was. Most people I've ever seen in the old Central Catholic Stadium was that night. That was incredible. So I wanted to wait until you came on. I know we have put the stuff out on social media after we were allowed to this afternoon about the big announcement and a lot of the other things that are going on with FanFest and everything. But I wanted to let you break it on our show here this afternoon. Big announcement today with the Pro Football Hall of Fame and what's coming and who's coming to town on July 31st. Rich, the floor is yours.
I'm going to back into it a little bit. You know, when we first started talking about FanFest, and we're very excited about that, just on its own, an opportunity for the community to come onto the campus, do a lot of activities, hear some great music, have the kids participate in just run around and in some combine like atmosphere. And we wanted to do this on game day, Friday, enshrinement day, and concert day. And all right, so if you do that, how can you make a big splash to kind of open the gates, if you will, to 4 days that we were excited about? And somebody said, man, what if we got national media here? What if we got a podcaster here? And well, you start down that path, and it's, well, who is that?
Right.
And that's Pat McAfee. I mean, right now there is nobody who, he may be polarizing to some. He's not everybody's cup of tea. But there's no question he's the biggest name right now in the sports podcasting business, the sports streaming business. His show is phenomenally widely watched and commented on because he is somebody who can put the stick in the mud and swirl it around a little bit. And we said, could we get Pat to come here? And through a couple phone calls to people, got Pat on the phone. And we're like, Pat, this is what we want to do. And he was like, I'm in. And honest to God, Sammy, there was no sales job needed. When we said we had an opportunity for him to do his show here, he said, "I'm gonna make it happen." And so, that was about 2 weeks ago, and we went back and forth a couple times about what that could look like and the logistics around it. And when everybody was satisfied that that they could bring the show here, bring the set here, put it on the original steps, the iconic front steps of the museum, everybody signed off, and so he'll be here. And he literally is the first live event related to FanFest, and we're hoping that it brings a lot of people out, whether or not they intend to go to the game or not. And if they are going to go to the game, it's just another way to to kind of stretch out that experience.
No doubt. And I guess he's going to broadcast right from the steps, which is going to, I can't wait to see some drone shots of what that's going to look like. Yeah. I think that's going to be just incredible. And the fact that he was like, yep, let's do it. No sales pitch needed. I don't know Pat personally. I have listened to him for quite a while on different platforms, like all broadcasters do. And I think he's at the height. He's at the top right now. And yeah, man, that's a great get by you guys at the Hall of Fame.
Well, we're thrilled that he said yes. And this is a guy who did Home Run Derby yesterday.
Right.
He's doing the ESPYs tomorrow. He can pick and choose whatever he wants. Basically, can pick and choose whatever he wants to do. Go wherever he wants to go. College game day is something he does in the fall, and he does some WWE. And so he's positioned himself right now where he has the stature and the clout to say, I want to go here, I want to go there. I know he followed the Indiana Pacers. He's stayed in the Indianapolis area. It's kind of where his home base is. Big Pacer fan. So he was at the finals games this year. And for somebody who can say yes or no to whatever he wants to say yes or no to say he wants to be in Canton, Ohio. Again, I've talked about it a lot with Christian, Laura, and Jake in the mornings, and we'll talk about it again tomorrow when I come on. We sometimes forget or take for granted or have just sort of lost the sense of this is a special place and a one of a kind place. And for somebody with that stature and ability to go where he wants to go, to say, I want to go to Canton, Ohio, I'm in. That speaks about how special of a community we live in and how special the whole Hall of Fame Enshrinement Week events are.
Rich Desrosiers is kind enough to join us this afternoon here from the Pro Football Hall of Fame here on AM 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show. Pat McAfee, the big show is coming to the Hall of Fame on July 31st. Kind of get you ready, get you going. Like Rich said, if you're going to go over to the Chargers, the Lions game, what a great way to kind of tailgate, so to speak, and get hyped up for the game. If not, hang around and enjoy what the show has to offer, the Pro Football Hall of Fame and everything that is going on. Rich, I was talking to some other folks at the meeting at the hall today, and I thought it's really cool because usually everybody's like, okay, we're waiting on the Pro Football Hall of Fame festivities to start. But now, like, this is almost an appetizer with a big announcement today. So many other things are going on besides the quote-unquote Hall of Fame week or Hall of Fame weekend that I think the word getting out now about different events is getting people extra excited a little bit earlier. And I think that's a win-win too, don't you?
It's certainly a win for this community. I mean, right. Sammy, you're very generous to say I'm still looking good because I'm feeling the effects of being outside. I had just run over to the Forever Lawn Sports Complex to meet a couple people who are in town for NFL Flag.
Okay,
and, too, right? That's this weekend, and there's going to be some big announcements around, with Flag being here. There's going to be some announcements about Flag and the future of Flag. Then, next weekend you've got the Women's Football Alliance, over here at Tom Benson Stadium playing. That's a group that wants to keep coming back to Canton because they have decided that that's where they get the best experience and the most support. So they keep coming back, and then that's really when the whole Enshrinement Festival kicks off with the Balloon Classic, a week from Friday and Saturday. So, and then after that, it's kind of onto our campus for first play and the game, and and then the dinner downtown and the fashion show and the whole litany of events that takes us all the way through to the next Monday after that, August 4th, with our very own Canton Bluecoats kind of wrapping everything up with their big performance locally here before they go off to nationals. So just whatever your tastes are, we've said it, if your tastes is a carnival style atmosphere, you got that. You've got the 5th or 6th largest parade in the country. A couple 100,000 people will line the 2.5-3 mile route. I've walked that a couple of times with the balloon and a band, and it never gets old for people because they're adding stuff to that. And to be able to go out to the Balloon Classic and some of the things are, yeah, you got to buy your food. If anybody's handing out free food, let me know. I'll get in line with you. But outside of that, you can go out to the Balloon Classic and have a great time. And the same thing with our Fan Fest. Outside of whatever food you're going to buy from the great vendors that we've brought in, everything else is going to be free. No admission, no parking charge, no charge for water. We're going to dispense free bottles of water, along with the free parking and the free admission. So we really hope people will come out and take advantage of that and just kind of get into the spirit of what football's greatest weekend kind of used to be, when everything we've talked about was compressed into there wasn't nearly what we've just talked about, but what there was compressed into 2 days, and that was nice and that was neat, and there's some nostalgia around that. But now to be able to be more inclusive and realize that all in all, when you add up all of these events, and yes, you're counting some people twice, but all in all, about 500,000 people are going to experience some event over the next couple of weeks in conjunction with the Enshrinement Festival, and the national media will have its eyes on us, and now we've got this other kind of national platform to show off to.
Yep, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be populated. Social media is going to be blowing up. I know that. The exposure, you can't put a price on that, Rich. You guys know that.
Right.
As far as major or local, national, that's everything you get there is a positive. But I love the release that was put out on the Hall site today. FanFest 25, football's greatest weekend, 4 days, nonstop energy, free for everyone, and then you go down and you list all the things that you've got going on. Yeah. And this appeals to everybody. I love that.
Bands, a lot of music. And, if it's not a live band, we'll have DJ. Q92 is going to have a real big presence. And we've really benefited and enjoyed our growing relationship and the things we're able to do together. And Q92 sponsoring the Battle of the Bands on Sunday. And who knows what that could be, for the band that wins that, the exposure that they might get out of it.
Let's go back some time, maybe even decades ago. Rich, did you ever envision what it would look like in 2025 as far as the Hall of Fame, football's greatest week, and football's greatest week, all of the things that go on? Did you ever think it would be this big?
I don't know that in 2024 I thought it would be this big, because we've managed, with this Fan Fest and now confirmation that Pat McAfee wants to be here. I mean, those two things right there just lifted above what 2024 was, and I thought that was pretty cool. And 2023 with Joe Thomas was really special for a lot of people in this area. Certainly not. I mean, Sammy, when you and I went down memory lane from those days in the late 80s, and when I was a young reporter at the Repository covering the likes of Willie Lanier and Mel Blount and Fred Bolitnikoff and Kenny Houston, those were some of the guys that I got to meet really up close and personal. It was nothing like this. I mean, no. I rode my bike from my apartment downtown, watched the parade, brought my bike up the hill here to the hall and saw the enshrinement on the front steps of the hall, and then went to the game all on Saturday. And it was just boom, boom, boom. And, we thought the game being on Wide World of Sports was a big deal on a Saturday afternoon. And then it was all over. So pretty cool now what it's all become. And I know that there's some folks in the community who are like, oh my goodness, I'm going to take my vacation outside of Canton when this comes, because it's gotten too big. And I certainly respect that opinion, but when you see what it means to the hotels and the restaurants and whatever that could be, car services, people who can benefit from the amount of people who come into town, whether it be for Enshrinement Week or for Flag. There's a lot of livelihoods that are improved by the events we're talking about. So yeah, it can be frustrating sometimes to get caught in the snarl of traffic, but just pause for a second and realize that those minutes of frustration sometimes are the make or break financial differences for a lot of people in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rich, I just say embrace it. Embrace everything about it. We're lucky it's here. We're lucky the Pro Football Hall of Fame is here. We're lucky what we've got now, and I think it's going to get nothing but bigger and better. I know that's a cliche, but that's the way things roll. And I know I don't think it's ever going to reach its peak. I just think it's going to get bigger and better every year. There's new surprises. There's new ways of marketing, new way of generating revenue. There's just everything new is new, and you guys are knocking it out of the park. And we're happy to be a small part of it with you. And I appreciate you coming on. I wish we had a couple more minutes, but good luck. Stay cool. I know it's a busy time, but anything at all, just reach out and we'll be there.
All right. Hey, we'll catch up some more soon, Sam. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Rich Desrosiers from the Pro Football Hall of Fame joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310.